This is Akudo, let the truth be told. I got vibes of grace, lighting up the dark.
If we see something as a routine, then it's eventually going to annoy us. Like, oh, I have to do this every time. Why do I have to do this every time? Why is he not here helping me right now? And I want you to know this, that God, the struggles that he puts us through is not because he wants us to suffer. I would say that the most important one to build foundation, to branch out all the other steps, would to be never giving up. And then I remember something my mom told me. This was like before even high school. Like, she told me that if it's a problem that you feel like you can't even tell us, if it's a problem that you feel that we can't even fix, there's always God that you could talk to. So I gave it a try. I really prayed and really talked to him.
Are you stuck with slow banks and no funding? Waiting weeks for a loan can sink your business. At Monify, we deliver MCF funding fast, up to $25 million in just 24 to 72 hours. A simple application, lightning fast approval, and money in your bank ASAP. Get back to growing and not waiting. Call Monify LLC today and get funded tomorrow. Texas businesses trust Monify. Will you? Don't wait, because funds go fast. So apply now at www.monify.com or call 1-800-608-0490. Monify, wealth born of character.
All right, guys, we're back for a new one today. Man, I have a wonderful, wonderful guest for you guys, and you're going to love him. You're going to love him. He's only 19. I remember when I was 19, man, and he's already doing great things, okay? So my guest today, his name is Wisdom Aigbekaen. I might not butcher that. I don't want to butcher that name, but you know.
Yeah.
But please bear with me if I'm not saying it right. If you're Yoruba, bear with me, please. Just focus on the name Wisdom, okay? He's a vibrant speaker and preacher who passionately advocates for making God the cornerstone of every decision. That's very rare for kids his age. And I'm not calling him a kid in a derogatory way, but I remember when I was his age, man, I never thought of writing a book. So, man, he's already, decades ahead of me on that one. He firmly believes that every individual is born with a divine purpose, uniquely tailored to them by God. Now, with this conviction at the core of his teachings, Wisdom inspires his audience to embark on a journey of self-discovery, urging them to uncover and embrace their God-given destinies. Wisdom is not only pursuing academic excellence, but also diligently working towards realizing his own God-given dreams. So without any further ado, guys, I'd like you to, with a round of applause, welcome to the pod, Wisdom. Hey, Wisdom, thank you for joining us today. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to hop on this podcast, man. I really appreciate you, for real. Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you. Thank you. You're my guest, okay? I should be thanking you for taking the time, please. But I would like to start with this. Who is Wisdom? Like our audience wants to know, to humanize you, right? Who are you? What do you like? Where you from? Things like that. You can start from there and then we'll go. Take it.
I would say, to start off with things, I was born and raised in Houston, but moved over to San Antonio for most of my life. And things that I really like to do, I'm a very family oriented. I like hanging out with my family. Of course, I love going to church. I love praying to God. And I'm a very education based. I like going into education and doing things that could really help and incorporate into my future. And I really find joy in just making those around me just happy, just helping others, encouraging others to do the most that they can do when it comes to finding success and helping themselves in their own lives. Yeah.
Well put. You're the second guy that I know is named Wisdom. Do you know the
Really?
story behind your name?
So my mom, she told me that she wanted my name to be like a pair with my brother's name. Something that like went like well together when you would call like me and my brother's name together.
Right.
When she came up with my name, she was thinking it was the same thing as like with my middle name. She wanted it to have a meaning.
Right, of
She-
course.
for wisdom, she wanted me to lay like it through wisdom of God and Christ through my voice and like telling other people about God's goodness. And then with my brother Praise, she wanted his name to have the meaning of showing praise, showing adoration to the Lord. And for my middle name, Esosa, it means gift of God. So she was just really like oriented with having our names like have more than just being a name, but like having a meaning to it as well.
Man, I mean, bro, I'll tell I'm very impressed with you because the one thing that I'll say that getting raised by a godly Christian mother does to you is it separates you from a lot of things. And I do want to pick your brain on this because being that I already passed your age at 19, right? I remember some of the challenges I faced growing up. And I won't say that I'm far off, like, I won't say that I'm perfect in the way I lived at that age. But one thing that my mother instilled in me was, I don't, till up till today, I don't drink alcohol and I don't smoke, never smoked. Actually, the one time I tried to smoke was when I was probably 15 or 14 or 15 years old, and it was at my friend's house. And my mother's friend caught us smoking a piece of a paper that was lit.
Mm.
And she threatened that she was going to report me to my mother. Till today, I never touched anything smoking ever again. So I would say that
Mm.
one of the good things about being raised by a godly mother, knowing that your mother had a purpose with the way she named you, man, it separates you from a lot of heartache and headaches of life. So, but right now at your age, what would you say are the challenges you face amongst your peers, being that you're a Christian?
I would for sure say that one of the biggest challenges would be, I guess, like the difference in like how people my age would have fun. Because like you were saying before, like a lot of people my age, like their way of having fun would be like to go to like parties or
1000%.
to go to clubs, just to like be at like places that just indulge in like things that are not good for us, like spiritually and
Right.
like physically. So the amount of times that like I've been invited, but I would deny because I felt
Wow.
like it would not, it just wouldn't show any benefit if I did something like that. So I feel like the one like problem and difference is that people around my age, especially if they're trying to give themselves to Christ and everything, they find a hard time trying to detach themselves away from like the temporary like satisfactions that they like put themselves into. So yeah.
And how do you how do I word this? So, do you have the desire sometimes to indulge in those things?
I would say there for sure has been times where I would say like maybe like if I just go to this thing, like it won't be as bad, or oh maybe if it's just like a if I do it once, then I'll never do it again. But in my mind, like I said before, I take a step back and really think like, is this going to benefit me in some way? Like am I going to feel better about it? Am I going to feel guilty after I do it? And then like ultimately I just tell myself like if I'm like thinking this much on it, then it's just better just not to go through with
That's
it.
good.
Yeah.
I was about to ask you how do you keep yourself grounded, but you just answered it. That's good. That's good. If you're thinking this much about it, might as well just, man, I'll tell you this. You know how we believers, we hear a lot of testimonies, right? And
Hmm.
you hear a lot of people coming to Christ. Well, I was raised in the church like you were, and I don't really have and I say this when we go to Tuesday Bible studies, right? I don't really have that kind of testimony where they said he was a smoker or he was doing so much drugs, or he was womanizing, getting women pregnant, whatever. And then he contracted a disease, and then from there he gave his life to Christ and God healed him or whatever. When I hear those kind of testimonies, right, I'm like, man, I don't have any of that testimony because by God's grace, I heed the advice of my mother, and she was a single mother as well. But I never went the routes where God had to come and rescue me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I tell you, my life has been great. So that's also a testament to you, right? As you're growing, you might, yes, you're having those thoughts of maybe I should do it, maybe just do it right now and have fun. Especially being raised in America, it's a lot more difficult, I would say, because children your age are exposed to a lot. So I give you a lot of credit, bro. It's not easy to think that way, but also you mentioned something that I think might have helped. You love spending time with family.
Yeah.
You have to spend the time somewhere. So I like that you said that. But let us get into some of the questions I have for you. So tell me your personal faith journey and how Jesus has influenced your life. It's one thing that we're raised in the church, right? You and I, but it comes a time when you have to personally decide that you want Jesus. So when did that happen for you? You don't have to give me a date or anything, just the moment that made you decide that, you know what, I like this Jesus thing. It's not because my mother's brought me to him. I like him personally. Go ahead.
I would say for sure during my years of high school, I would say that would be around like the time where I felt the most amount of stress. And
Wow.
earlier, like when I was like younger and all that type of stuff, I wouldn't really take into account like now I'm like really on it, like praying in the morning, praying in the night. Just anytime I need to ask God for help, just pray. When I was younger, I didn't take it as seriously as I do right now. And there have been like times during my school where I would just like feel like so helpless, like I couldn't get through this. I couldn't pass this class. I couldn't do nothing about it. And then I remember something my mom told me. This was like before even high school. Like she told me that if it's a problem that you feel like you can't even tell us, if it's a problem that you feel that we can't even fix, there's always God that you could talk to. So I gave it a try. I really like prayed and really talked to him, and just talking to him even before the results of my prayers even came in, just talking to him gave me such clarity. It really like calmed me down from just like bluntly, how could I say, getting so like stressed out and confused.
Right.
It really brought me a lot of calmness and clarity to my mindset after that day, because I never felt something like that before. And after that day, I told myself like I really want to give my devotion to God. Like God is really here giving me a type of safety that I've never felt before.
Man, I have a question I'm gonna ask you, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't want it to be included in the interview, I already did a marker on this point so that
Yeah.
I'll remove it, right? But it's kind of a personal question, but it's also relevant to what we're talking about. But it's that personal that I don't want you to feel like, I don't want it to be in the interview. But I'm curious to know though, what's your dad?
Yeah, my dad at an early age, he passed away at a very early age. Yeah. So like my brother was 2 years old. I think I was a few months old.
Okay.
And he died from a illness.
Okay.
So yeah, for like for most of basically all of our lives, it was just me, my brother, and my mom.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm asking you because I didn't grow up with a father, but my father's alive. My father's in Houston though, but he wasn't really in my life.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want, do you want me to remove it? You don't.
No, you
Just tell me.
that's fine. You can keep it in. Yeah,
Are
it's
you
all.
sure?
Yeah, you could keep it in. It's all good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make you feel comfortable about it, but I've
Mm,
been curious about that. Every time I see you and your mom, I never see your pops. I mean, if someone asks me that, I wouldn't mind telling them either way.
yeah.
So, but everybody's not me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everybody's not you. So some people feel very, you know,
Mm,
personal about those kind of things. So you
yeah.
got to be careful. Okay, good to know. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. I'm sorry to
Thank you.
hear that. At least you never even knew the guy. I knew a
Yeah.
little bit about my father, you know. I'm
Mm,
very sorry to hear, but hey, you have a father in heaven, so and you're doing great
amen.
things now. And I'm grateful to hear, where God is taking you. Now, guys, by the way, something I didn't mention in my introduction today about wisdom is wisdom has a book. Wisdom wrote a book called Empowered by Faith: The 5 Keys to Building a Vibrant Christian Life. You can find it on Amazon, by the way. I'm putting it here on the screen so you guys can see it. I don't know if the reflection is there, but so wisdom, tell me though, what what inspired this book? Before we go into, talking
Mm.
more about it, what inspired it?
So it kind of like just all came all of a sudden. So
Really?
the person that helped me the most with this book, he's in the acknowledgments. You've seen him around church, I'm pretty sure, his brother Wally.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know him.
So I remember this was when I was younger, like when like I used to be in the children's church,
Okay.
and they would volunteer me to preach in front of the church, and he would be the person that would help me gain the confidence and like help me prepare to preach in front of the church. So after like all of that, after I graduated from the children's church, he wanted to like meet up with me just to like congratulate me for like doing well on all of my like preaching practice and everything, doing well in front of the church. And then he just randomly asked me, the question just randomly sparked. He said, do you ever feel like you want to like write something, or like do you ever feel like you would want to put your words in a book? And at first I thought he was just like asking just like out of curiosity. So I jokingly said like, "Oh yeah, like I would really want my words in a story. Like I would really want to story tell my words for real." And he was all like in all seriousness, he was like, "Okay, let's do it." And I was like, "Yo, wait, what?" Like I didn't know he was like serious about it. So over
Put your money
time,
where your mouth is now.
no, yeah. So it's like I was so surprised when like the opportunity just came out of nowhere. And over time, because of course like things came in the way, I really would want to appreciate his patience as well too with me, because I was still in high school at the time.
Of course.
So a lot of things were coming in the way, like with
Yeah.
it was my last year with finals, with projects, was just like everything that had to do with my last year of high school. It really
Got
came
you.
in the
I
way
got
of
you.
getting like some of the tasks done for the book. But even through all of that, he was really patient with me. He would always check up on me just to like make sure, like anytime if I would have free time, just to like help me get my progress done. And I would just really want to thank him, because I know a lot of people after like 2 weeks of seeing like no progress, they would have just up been
Yeah,
like,
they're like, this guy's not serious.
yeah,
I see what you mean. Man, that take a respect to Wally.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you this, man. I'm working on that aspect of my life to be not be too impatient about things,
mm,
especially towards people.
mm,
So it's a gift. Some people have it and some people don't. And some people just the ones that don't just need to develop. It's not a thing that you cannot learn.
yeah,
I'm naturally very impatient,
mm,
but I'm working on being more patient, especially with, you know, the children of God.
yeah,
Wow. So he kind of like helped you and persevered along the way with you in writing it.
yeah.
Why did you choose this particular name, Empowered by Faith? How did that come about?
Because most of the stories, like especially in the book, most of the stories that I would have to tell
Yeah.
would be how God has helped me, my family, through just having complete faith through him.
Okay, I see.
From feeling so much doubt, like I said earlier, from feeling so much doubt, and then having the faith and the belief that God is going to help us through anything, through any circumstance, in any way.
I see.
Those type of experiences and that one topic really stuck with me. So I wanted to incorporate it into the book, how people could
Right.
help themselves gain more faith in the Lord and have more belief in what he could really do for us when we talk to him and ask him for his guidance and help.
See, makes sense. Makes sense to me. Okay. Let me ask you a few questions then. So vibrant, right? What does it mean by when you say vibrant Christian life?
I would say that for the vibrant Christian life,
Hmm.
mm, in my opinion, personally, what I would think that would mean, which I really like that he used that word, that like I'm not totally shy when showing people my my faith to God. When my friends ask like anything about like, oh, I really had a hard time doing this, or oh, I'm really feeling stressed out, I really don't know what to do in life right now, I make it known and clear that I'm a child of God, that like if you really talk to him, he could give you the same amount of help that he gave to me, even more. And I really like to bond with people that are believers in Christ too. I just really don't, I don't hide the fact that I'm a man of God. Like I show everybody, I tell
Oh,
everybody.
wow. Wow. Amazing. Well, you need to join. You need to come join us at Reverb, bro. You need to. Yeah, I'm serious. You need to join our group, Reverb, and because yeah, we don't we need youngsters like you that are very one passionate about the things of God and two enthusiastic, charismatic, and lively. You know, because for example, I'm the vice president, right? But I
Mm,
only have 2 tenures unless something happens. They make me extend it. So,
mm,
but eventually, when I hand it over to someone, we
yeah.
need youngsters like you that will carry on the torch. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I think you should consider that coming to join us. You know what? You know what Reverb is, right?
Y'all are the acting, right? The
No,
acting
no,
group?
that was Rama. That was Rama Expressions. Reverb is. I'm surprised you're not familiar with it, but don't worry. I'll talk to you about it later. It's
Mm,
cool. But yeah, you definitely need. No, it's not acting. It's not singing. It's just our group of career based or business minded people
mm,
from all ages. But it's not really all ages because you can't bring a 1 month old baby or 1 year old baby into Reverb. But
yeah.
at least your age,
Mm,
maybe younger, maybe like 16 and above, I would say. But because we do have events like business events where we invite people to come and speak. And we've had one where a 15-year-old learned about investing. So I think you would love it. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. So now let's talk about the role of faith, right? Why is it crucial that, like you said, these steps, they're steps, right? Why is it crucial that these steps are specifically faith driven rather than just discipline driven? I know that might sound like a very tough question, but I want you to answer it genuinely.
mm.
Why are these steps specifically faith driven rather than just discipline driven or knowledge driven? Like, what's the difference? So these are like two questions in one.
Yeah. So I would say that with these steps that are in the book, I would say that the most amount of progress and results that you could see from these steps would be, how could I say, it would be derived from having faith that they would work. Because most people, they could have discipline in something, like they could, I mean, because I know there could be different definitions for like discipline. For me personally, I would see discipline as like you feel like it's like you feel like this thing is morally right to do, like it's something that you like casually do day to day to day. So if it's like if discipline in that sense, I feel like if you're doing all those actions, but not having faith that they're making any like good effects in your life or other people's life, then I feel like these steps would not have as much gratitude as it was if you have full on faith that going through these steps will make your life as a Christian better. And that kind of goes into like my differences as well too, because doing an action can never really, again, have enough effect if you don't have the faith or belief that it's going to make an
It's gonna
effect.
work, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
So
Okay.
if you do an action, let's say that you go into like a practice, or you go into like a sport that you want to do, but you don't have faith that you go through all the routines, through all the trainings, everything, but you don't have in the mindset that like I could really become something out of this. You don't have a determination or faith in yourself to make something out of that action. Then that action is just going to remain just that like specific action. Like there's not going to be no elevation to that action that
I
could
see.
proceed you in life and everything.
That's a very good way to say it. That's true. People don't really think about it like that. That the action is driven usually by having faith that it could get done. Not all the time, but majority of the time is because there's a sense of belief there,
Mm.
and then you take the action. Do you have any specific story that you can share with us that correlates that point you just made? Be it educational or anything, whatever it is.
Yeah. So
Please.
it's gonna be something pretty casual. Usually, anytime I get out of bed, I usually do like these like morning stretches and everything, because I heard that they were good for keeping your body like in good condition throughout the day. But usually
Okay.
like, through the morning, like you know how people be through the morning, like they don't really want to do too much in the morning. We're like at our laziest state in the morning. So I just saw the stretches as just something that was just part of the routine that I have to just get over with. But then I started telling myself like this is something that could really like help me. Like it won't make me feel terrible throughout the day. Like my bones won't be hurting. I'll be able to walk without like feeling like tired or like sore. And when I told myself like this really is having a true benefit to me, I started putting more effort into like not like skipping any stretching days, or not
Okay.
trying to or not trying to justify like I'll just do this tomorrow, or
Mhm.
just being more in tune and aware of like how that action is going to help me in my life.
Wow. Okay. You're taking it to ground zero right there
Yeah.
with that example. Very, not something sophisticated, something people can definitely relate, to stretching. I personally need to start doing that because I don't know. Back hurting, it's now
Yeah.
kind of common, especially for taller people. So
Yeah.
yes, that's a very good analogy, bro.
Thank you, man.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that. So now let's talk about foundational steps. What would you identify as the essential first step toward cultivating this kind of vibrant Christian life, and why is it foundational? Do you
So
understand the question?
yeah, I understand what
Okay,
you're
please.
yeah. So I would say that out of all the steps that were listed in the book,
Hmm.
I would say that the most important one to build foundation to branch out all the other steps would to be never giving up. Because if you, how could I say, all these other steps could easily fade away if you just give up.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So never giving up and always seeing and like always looking into your future, seeing like if I continue to do this, I know I will see an improvement in my life and how I feel about myself, then is going to really show you true progress. Because progress, there's there's no progress that prevails through people giving up. If you give up,
None.
that's the progress done. That's the progress. Like, it's not going to, there's no furtherness to that progress.
Right.
People that
It's the end.
succeed the most in modern time, like if you ask them for their backstory,
Mhm.
they'll tell them like that, like, I never gave up on what I wanted to do. I never, no matter like how great things were looking, I never gave up on my determined goal to get how I got to in this present time. So the same is for all these other steps. Like when you never give up, then it can branch on to the pressing on stage where you could press on to that goal that you're not giving up to. It can help with all the other stuff like finding a good Christian group and family to interact and relate with. And it could also help with, what is it? Another chapter, I have the book right here. Another chapter that it could help with building support and relationships. It could also help with, if we go to chapter 4 right here, let me go to it real quick. It was my
Yeah.
favorite,
Please.
my favorite chapter that I wrote,
Mhm.
which is it's because it's literally really like linked to the title about faith.
Mhm.
So never giving up can branch onto, it's literally called having faith. Never giving up can branch onto having faith, because once you never give up, that faith is never going to die. It's a never dying faith, because some people, their faith could either decrease, increase, or it could just diminish entirely. But the practice of never giving up teaches you how to endure to get like that specific outcome that you would want. So if that
Right.
specific outcome is having faith, having more faith in God, then never giving up is going to show you the solitude that you should have, that you should know that this journey is not going to be an easy
An
one.
easy one.
But when you go on and when you just look forward into your future and realize that this is what I want to do, this is how I want to live, I want to give my life to Christ, then as long as you are on that specific subject and you're just not giving up on that subject, and that subject is always going to remain in your mind, it's always going to remain in your actions, it's never going to go away.
Beautiful answer. But like, I'm gonna ask you this because it's something that has always been on my mind as well when it
Mm,
comes to not giving up, right? How do you know what not to give up on and what to give up on? Because I'm assuming that
mm,
if you don't give up on one thing, there are other things that you actually gave up on
mm.
to focus on the thing that you're not giving up on. Do you understand the
Yeah, I understand.
weird logical thought of mine?
Yeah.
So I've always wondered, like, you know how we always it's a cliche nowadays, don't quit, don't quit, don't quit, just do it.
Mhm,
So, but how do you know what not to give up on? Because some things you if you don't give up on them,
mm,
you never would go forward.
mm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I would say once you have a goal,
Mhm.
it shouldn't just be that one goal that you should solely have. Like you could have many goals that you're focused on, and then for like knowing like when to give them and not when to give up, I would say if you see current success, one of the goals, even like more than one of the goals, it could be two goals,
Mhm.
and you see concurrent failures in this one goal, like if you start seeing failures that start to affect your life,
Okay.
then I would
Failures
say
that are
like,
detrimental.
yeah, like if it gets serious to the point where it's literally affecting your way of living in a bad
Okay.
way,
That's a very good point.
and then in my opinion, I would see that that's a way of God saying, because God has specific roles and path lines for us, and God, he gave us the ability of free will. So even if that's not the path line that he had planned for us, and we think that that's the path line he had planned for us, since we have free will, he's going to allow us to go through that path, but it's going to show us signs that this is not the path that was made for us. So that
I
can be
see.
through concurrent like failures of that path, or it can be through things that might happen that might change your mindset on that pathway. But if you have these other two goals, because I'm not saying that it's not good to be determined on a specific goal, but throughout life there are going to be many things that we want to accomplish.
I tell you.
So we shouldn't just have that one goal to detriment our life. We should have multiple goals that can help us as we're going through life. So again, when you see the signs, because again, God, he works through some mysterious ways. He shows signs to each and every one of us if we're supposed to be doing what we're doing or if we're not supposed to be doing what we're doing. And that's his way of being our guidance by showing us those signs. So if you see all those concurrent failures, or if something happens in your life that it's like because you're doing this path line and all this bad stuff keeps on lining up for you, and that should be a sign to let that pathway go. And then if you see another pathway that is showing progress, that's showing success, then that should be your sign that like this is something that I enjoy, but also God is saying that I should be more into.
Right.
So it's all about the signs that God gives you, if you should let something go or if you should hold on to that thing and keep on to make that goal a reality.
That is you cast a wide net to so many things in life, especially right now in my head. So let's say I like two girls that I want to marry one of them, right? I can only marry one of them. And the sign could be that one is like they both like me, for example. Let's assume they both like me. They're receptive to me. And there's no say they like me, but they're receptive to me.
Yeah.
But one is that there's so much things in the way for one when I'm trying to work it out with that one while I'm talking to the other one. And the other one is more like, it's like a free access. But this thing, something is either like I call her, I miss a call. She calls me, I miss a call. I'm just giving random examples, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I take her to the movie on the way, my car, something happens. You know, little things like that. We should pay attention to them because I've heard what you're saying makes sense because I've heard, you know, Tony Robbins, right?
Yeah.
He says, success leaves clues. So ever since I heard that statement, right, I've always thought myself, if success leaves clues, then failure leaves clues too.
Yeah. Yeah. It goes
can't be just success, right? So, but if we're paying only attention to like someone that has wisdom, not someone that's intelligent. If you have wisdom, the Lord will give you understanding on how to decipher things in different ways. So if you're paying attention to those little clues, if we're using a relationship as an example, you would be able to see the signs God is trying to tell you something, right? Is what you're saying.
By far, yeah.
Okay.
Because there's like well, it's not a joke, but there's like a funny joke going around saying like one of the fastest prayers that God answers to people, especially in relationships. Anytime somebody prays, God, show me a sign, get her out of my life if she's not the one for me. They say that that's the fastest prayer that God usually like be answering to people, saying
really?
like the next day the girl like will do something crazy, and then like that'll be God's sign saying like. So that they'll say that that's like the fastest prayer that
prayer God answers.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's good though. That's very good. So there's no confusion.
Yeah.
Lord, take her out of my life. She's not the one. Please.
Yeah. She's not the one. Just show me the signs, Lord.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, you're listening, paying attention. There you go. Pay attention to the things happening. And because actually, you know, when God, we serve a good God.
Amen.
The problem is us, is not him. When things go wrong in our lives, we tend to want to blame God. Well, the baby Christians tend to want to blame God. But it comes a time where you have to self-reflect. When you take a look in a retrospect on your life, on those things that happened, you find out that there were signs of, or it was like God was telling you, don't go this way. And you didn't want to, you heard him, but you didn't listen.
Yeah, you didn't,
You ignored it. Nah, Lord, I'm going that way. And then you did it several times because he gives you chances upon chances until things went south. Pay attention, guys. I love that answer you gave, bro. Thank you for that.
Man.
I learned something there, right there, for real. So now let's talk about how do these 5 steps move beyond being just a checklist to becoming a transformative process rooted in one's relationship with God. So in other words, how can it be more practical?
So I would say the way that these could be seen more than just, oh, I'm doing this, check, I'm doing this, check.
Yes.
I would say it really is in our mindsets, because if we see it as, sure, these are like steps, but if we see this only as steps, then, because it's how the human mind works. If we see something as a routine, then it's eventually going to annoy us. Like, oh, I have to do this every time. Why do I have to do this every time? You have to really show your dedication to these. Like, has to be something that you have to show. How could I say? You have to show more awareness to. Like, you can't just see these as like a, oh, I done this, check. You have to really dive deeper into it. So it's like, for pressing on, you can't just say, I'm like, I really want to go through this path line. I'm going to do everything I can. Okay, I just did what this book told me, check. Like, it has to be a process that you experience on your own to make it more than just a checklist. Like, it has to be something that also affects your life. Yes. And you could see it like in person, in live action. Like, you could see it happening at that moment. That's how you can transfer it more than just steps to actual life-changing advice.
Man, that's very good. I see. And it's true, the mindset though. You see, that is almost like I'm throwing Christians under the bus, but this is what I've noticed, that most Christians don't they only feed the spirit, but they don't feed their minds, and they don't feed their bodies.
Yeah.
But all 3 are connected for a particular reason. They're all 3 connected. Nothing wrong with feeding your spirit, is very necessary. But years ago, I learned that when you build your spirit, man, the effect of what you've built needs to be transferred to your physical realm. But it transfers through the mind. But if the mind is like an antenna that receives signals, right? And transfers the signals from whatever is received is just what it does, right? I learned that if you have a weak mind, but a very powerful spirit, the transfer of the signal that you're transmitting, it wouldn't be powerful enough to go through that machine called the mind to create a powerful result in your physical realm. So most Christians don't even focus on the mind at all. So they have a very weak mind. Yeah. And that weak mind even affects the way they see God. But just once a Christian, like reading, for example, books like yours.
Yeah.
I love studying, bro. And it just increases your ability to receive from the spirit and transfer it into the physical realm. So I agree with what you're saying, mindset. It's very necessary that one builds their mindset, and it will be easier at that moment to practicalize what you're saying, to transform, them seeing it as just a checklist, them seeing it being, real thing. I love that. Man, at your age, you're thinking like that is amazing to me.
Thank you, man.
And the point is, there's no age limit to someone that's 9-year-old could have that wisdom,
Yeah.
But I love that you're doing it though. Could you unpack one of the 5 steps that you believe is the most frequently misunderstood or neglected, and explain its true purpose? That's a loaded question, right?
Yeah. So I feel like the one that's most neglected, misunderstood, I would say would be fellowship and like going with having a group of people, because there's a
Right.
lot of people nowadays that they feel like, of course it's always a good thing to do, but they feel like I said before, like if you're not really, if you have the mindset that, oh, I'm doing this thing every week, like I'm coming here in the morning every week, most people try to neglect the importance of it. Like,
See.
so with coming to church and everything, there could be some people that say like, oh, I'm just not gonna go to church today. With that type of neglection, it deteriorates the importance, and it makes people underestimate how much that specific fact can help. Because
Hmm.
with
That's beautiful.
coming to church, of course it's not like a necessity. Like you don't need to come to church to pray to God or to like show him your love. But there are many times where there was this one verse in the chapter that said that iron sharpens iron just as a person should sharpen another. And with that mindset, what people need to realize, of course, it's good to be your own person, good to be independent, but there are times, that's why God didn't just make the world a one person only and it's just you in that world. He
Right. You need people.
he gave us connections and
Yes.
mutual people that have the same mindset and help that we need. And he wants us all to gather and to collect our thoughts together and just talk about the type of ideals and like faiths that we have in Christianity, that we have in God, that we have in everything that has to do with Christ.
Yes.
And a lot of people really, how could I say, when they have that mentality like, oh, why do I have to do that? They're taking that step for granted. So
I see.
like when it comes to that, it's more of a step that, like, it's helping. Sure, like these are all personal things, because a lot of the steps are things that the person needs to do. But then with that step, that's why it came to my mind so much, is that with that step, it's telling people that even though I'm telling you, you have to do all of this doesn't mean that you can't find other people with the same mindset, with the same goal. And that
See.
doesn't mean that you can't work with them, that you can't ask for help,
Facts.
because asking for help is one of the best ways, because you're seeing another person that is in the same footsteps as you. Oh, and you know the saying that they say, like, two hands are better than one, or two minds are better than one.
Yes.
Working together to empower and just build up the faith that you could have for God will dramatically increase when you see that somebody else is trying just as hard as you. Because it makes you feel like, oh, I'm not the only one that's going through this. I'm not the only person that wants to change. And seeing that other people have the same goals as you really increases the determination that you'll have in that specific goal. So I would say that step in that book would really be misunderstood, because a lot of people would have pride saying like, oh, I don't have to be with other people to show love. It's not in this, it's not, I'm not saying it's necessary, but it for sure is a step that will boost your percentage in getting in the right direction,
Yes.
being more empowered by faith with the Lord.
Man, I remember reading a book. So what you're saying is fellowship
Mhm.
and the necessity of communion, I would say, for lack of a better
Yeah.
term. I read a book that talked about how God did it on purpose, that we
Mhm.
had to interact with each other to build
Mhm.
something great. The guy gave an instance with water. He said, "Water's, speaking about chemistry, how we talked about chemistry,
Yeah.
and I don't like chemistry much, but you know how water is H2O, right?
Mhm.
The guy was giving an instance how to have water, we needed two elements. You know how we have
Mhm.
elements,
Mhm.
the periodic table and all that. So the guy mentioned how you need two hydrogen elements and one oxygen element to create water. He also made some other elaborations, like I think it was
Mhm.
something, steel or something. There was this. He said that it was a mixture that created the bridge we drive our cars over. There are several elements that were combined to create it. I'm not a chemistry guy, so guys, sorry if I'm not saying it right. But the point is he was making is that these elements could not create things that were lasting just by themselves. So he was saying that if elements were intended to collaborate to create something powerful, because the bridge, he gave an example. He said bridge can last hundreds of years, which is crazy. That means that we as humans, we need to find a way to interact and communicate and build something great together. So yeah, it is something that is so necessary, but like you said, is mostly misunderstood. Yeah, it's people like coming to church. Yeah, I don't want to go to church, but whatever, right? But they don't understand the power within just fellowshipping together and all that. And I think that's an element of love, if you ask me.
By far,
Fellowshipping together. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
People that go to hell don't have that. I don't know if you heard some hell testimonies that are mind blowing. One of the tortures of being in hell is that you can't even interact with someone while suffering in pain, like being burned. You can't share the pain with anybody, like tell the person like I'm burned. No, you're like secluded. You're completely like separated from interacting with anyone in hell. So here on earth, we take it for granted.
By far, yeah.
I love that part, man. Man, beautiful, bro, beautiful.
Thank you, man.
So let's see. So what does living out one of these specific steps look like in the midst of a busy, ordinary Tuesday? I wrote this down, so bear with me, I'm reading it out.
Yeah.
I wrote it down how I want to ask him. So what does it look like living out one of these specific steps? In the midst of being busy and, like on a daily basis.
Yeah. So I would say that one of the following steps that could really, I'll go with the pressing on a regular Tuesday. Let's say you're waking up, you're tired, getting ready for work, going to work and everything, and you have a generalized goal saying like, oh, I want to get out of this place by this time, or I want it to be at this point in my life where I'll get out of this position. And you do specific things, like you try to search for jobs, you try to what is it? Like ask people around, like, oh, do you know how to like make more money, or do you go to YouTube, social media, just to find ways how to make more money. And I talked about this in the book, because there's a difference between never giving up and pressing on. Never giving up is when you decide that you have this one goal and you're going to stick with it. Like you're going to stick, not one, it could be multiple goals, but you have these specific goals and you're not going to overlook them or leave them behind. And pressing on is the will and determination of how long you want to proceed on with that goal. So without the concept of never giving up, you can't press on. And then without the concept of pressing on, somebody can never give up, but you will never make without pressing on with it. So the examples that I was given, like the person doing everything that they can to just try to make difference in their lives, try to get a better job, try to elevate their strategies to make finances and everything. That could be a sign of somebody pressing on because they have that certain goal. They're not going to give up on that goal, but now they're making progresses to make that goal more of a reality than just a statement. So people just even like asking for help, all of that type of stuff. You could see a lot of people on a regular basis. Like usually I would see this on YouTube. There would be a lot of, cause I remember we were talking about like investments earlier and stuff. That one kid that like found investments. There would be a lot of videos on investments and everything. And everybody, I would always look at the comments. They would always be talking about their stories, saying how, there's this one person, they said, I'm 17 looking into investments. I really want to like make something out of this. I really want to uh have results when I get older to like have all to myself. Like I would be and like how you said the age differences, like it's so expansive. Like I would see somebody
Right.
saying like, "Oh, I'm 35, finally like seeing the importance of this type of thing, and I'm trying to get
Right.
into it." And they would be helping each other in the comments section. Like they would be asking for help, saying, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
if you need a source, here's a source. Oh, if you
Yes.
need a different YouTuber to like help you understand in a simpler term, here's this." And just the fact that these people are helping out, and the person that's receiving help, instead of having pride and saying like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure I could figure this out on my own. I don't want nobody else to assist me. I want this to be my success
Right.
story." They're using that advantage as fuel to add on to the progress of pressing on and making their goal into a reality. So
Right.
I feel like a sign, just a regular day sign of pressing on, is for sure somebody asking for help. That's a
Interesting. Really? That's
really
good.
big, somebody asking for help and asking for assistance. Cause like I said before, like
Interesting.
we weren't made to live life solo. Like we were
Right.
made,
No, that's for sure.
yeah, we were made to go to our surroundings and ask for help. Cause with help, you'll find a lot of success knowing that like they're, especially if you ask people that know what they're doing too,
Yes.
you'll find a lot of success just from asking help. Like there's no shame in asking help.
Tell that to my younger self. That's good. Tell that to my younger self, bro. So when you say that there's a difference between progressing and there's a difference between progressing and not giving up. So
Mhm.
just because you're not giving up doesn't mean you're progressing.
So I would say that, because I was speaking in more of like a sense like there's like this goal that you have saying like, "Oh,
Hmm.
I know I'm gonna do this goal. I really want to do this goal." Never giving up on something is like, you know that you want to do it, but you could never give up on something, but also not put action to that something. You could always tell yourself, "I'm going to do this, but I don't really feel like doing it right now." Or like it could be like if someone said like, "Oh, have you given up on like this one sport that you wanted to try out, or have you given up on learning how to like do that and like learn how to cook?" And you could tell somebody like, "No, like I'm still thinking about doing it. I just haven't put action to it." And
Right.
that's what that pressing on is. I
Pressing
feel
on
like
is what word. Yes.
yeah. So in my mind, I would see the never giving up as making a statement and a goal, but actually putting action to that goal is what I would put as pressing on. Cause yeah.
That is a good one. That's a good one. And I want to encourage people to this if you're a Christian, because if you're not a Christian, this won't it's not that it won't apply to you, but you wouldn't even understand what I'm saying. But if you are a believer, right, the word says, those that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength, right? They shall mount up with wings as eagles, they shall run and not faint. Now, that scripture has because the reason I'm bringing it up is our pastor's wife taught about it, and he just kept ringing in my head over the years in my past when I didn't want to give up on something, but I didn't have the strength to keep going. But I don't want to give up. You know what I mean? So
Mm,
there is strength. So that's my word of encouragement to someone listening. There is a strength in waiting on the Lord. You're not just waiting, but you're waiting on the Lord,
mm,
because there will come a time in your life on something that you so much believe in, a goal like Wisdom is talking about, a goal that you just so much believe in, you don't want to quit on it. In fact, you want to take steps on it, but you don't have the strength because you failed so much trying to accomplish that goal that you have no more strength to keep going and making more steps and failing. The only solution for you, you're not giving up. And you're actually pressing on when you wait, because that scripture says he will renew your strength and you will
Mm,
mount up with wings as eagles. That means, you know, the story of the eagle. He's the king of the sky. He
mm,
can fly further. He can even fly across a storm. So if you think to yourself that you're not pressing on just because you're waiting on the Lord, you're mistaken. Because when you're done waiting on him and he says, you will have so much strength that you can take off and beat someone that has already been walking, that you
mm,
thought already passed you on. You know what I mean? So it's an encouragement, and it's something that the Lord spoke to me personally. And obviously, I'm telling you the truth. I'm practicing it on
mm,
so many things in my life, because there's some things that I've done that I should have waited, and I got no more strength to go on. But I didn't want to quit though. I'm
mm.
not a quitter, but man, I got no strength. When you get to that point, you recall this video. Did you want to add anything to it, Wisdom?
No, I feel like you really well explained and like branched off of it too. Like that was good, man. That was beautifully.
Thank you, brother. So the other question would be, now you talked about fellowship, right? So where does
Mm.
Christian community fit into the successful practice of these 5 faith-based steps? Where does the Christian community fit into it? When I say Christian community, I just mean like the church, the groups we have in church, accountability partners.
So I would say it's kind of how I mentioned before. So seeing people in the same like state or like going through the same thing as you trying to become better can really enhance and strengthen your determination for the other steps of faith. So when you feel like, because there are a lot of people that when they feel like they're the only person that's going through something, it makes them more stressed out and more confused on what to do. But once
Mhm.
they see that other people are going through the same thing as them, other people are trying to just get better just like them, then that fellowship, that communion can really help in enhancing your determination and your awareness of what you want to do for these steps. Because most people, they'll be all like, oh, this is just a problem that like nobody can relate to me. There's no point in even trying to just fix this problem. It is just a problem that nobody can help me with. But then seeing other people trying to make that same change, trying to trying to help themselves just as much as they're trying to like help them,
Mhm.
then that could really open somebody's eyes saying like, I guess I was wrong. I'm not the only person that is going through this. I'm not the only person that wants to change.
See,
Let me interact. Let me relate with these people. Let me have conversations to see how we could both help each other.
right.
So that's how I feel like communion and just speaking with other people can really help in the other steps of increasing your faith.
Wow, that's very profound. It's true. It's true. So I'm gonna ask you a question that I usually ask my guests, because we've
Mhm.
come to the end of our show. But man, time just flew by so
I
quick.
know it didn't even feel like
You
a
didn't
whole
feel
hour.
like it for
Yeah,
real. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. So,
yeah,
question I'll ask, it's funny. This question is very old agey, I guess, but doesn't matter. You can, anyone can answer it still.
yeah.
Question is, if you could go back to your younger self,
Mm,
right? What would you tell? Two things you should tell them. One is something you want them to do,
mm.
and two, something you don't want them to do. Don't do this ever. What would those things be?
So I would say the first thing I would tell my younger self I would want them to do is that they should take, how could I say, they should take more seriousness and awareness in the choices that they make. Like they should really, that my younger self should really think, how will this impact my future? Because me, when I was younger, you know, like as we were all kids, we didn't really think like, oh, like the future is so far away. I don't got to think about this.
Right.
So one thing I would want to tell my younger self, if I could just go back in time, is to always be prepared for what's to come in your future. Cause I'm not
Beautiful.
saying you don't live in the now. Like, of course, you
Yeah.
can live in the present, live in the now,
Yeah. Yeah.
but there's always benefit. There's always clarity when you know how you want your future to go, and like it can really help with decision making. Like,
Sure.
like what's wrong from right. If this is gonna help your future that you want, it helps you just make what is it? It helps you surround yourself around similar people that would want that
Yes.
success and
Yes.
wouldn't try to sabotage or try to get you into something that would get you away from that path line. And then that goes into something that I would tell my younger self not to do. I would tell him to just not surround yourself around people that don't take life seriously. Like that don't want to have a future that's worth
Yes.
like working for, that's fulfilling. Like people that all they want to do is just go to parties, smoke,
Yes.
drink, people that don't take life seriously and they just think that like life is just getting into all those substances and things that can harm you. Don't surround yourself around
With those
somebody,
people.
yeah, that is going to affect you having a good future for yourself. So
Oof.
those would be the two things I would tell myself in the past.
Wow.
Yeah.
Facts. Like if I could scream it above, if I scream it on the rooftop right now, I would. That is facts. Those
Yeah.
two, man, that this is your mom named you right, bro. For
Thank you,
sure.
man.
There's a difference between wisdom and intelligence. I tell people all the time, just because you're intelligent doesn't mean you're wise. You rather be wise than have intelligence. I'd rather be a fool. I don't understand math. I don't understand chemistry. I don't
Mm,
understand literature, but I understand something deeper. You know, wisdom is deeper than that. It's a spiritual thing.
mm.
So now give us the final words of wisdom, so words of encouragement, I would say. Whatever the Holy Spirit puts in your heart to speak of, I'd like you to give us a few words of encouragement to our audience listening as the final word of wisdom from you.
So my final message would be to just have everlasting faith, because there are going to be times in your life where you're thinking, where is he? Why is he not here helping me right now?
Yes.
And I want you to know this, that God, the struggles that he puts us through is not because he wants us to suffer. Struggles are lessons that he wants us to learn from. If you're struggling in a certain situation in your life, if you're having a hard time in your life, it's not because God never hates none of his children. He's a forgiving God, he's a loving God.
Yes.
But being in those struggles, he also is our father, our guider. He wants to teach us
Mm-hmm.
what can happen if we do certain things. He wants to give us lessons. So all I want to say is never lose faith in God when your life is low. Because when you don't lose faith, when you have undying faith to the Lord, when you have so much belief that the Lord will help you, he will return all that belief and more back to you. Because one of the worst things that you could do is belittle God for your own decisions. Because God gave us free will because he didn't want us to feel like we were like on a leash to his commands. He gave us free will to make our own decisions,
Right.
but he's also our guider. He's telling us, if you do this, this is gonna happen. And I'm again with the signs and everything. So I would say just never lose faith in God, because like how you said before, we need to take accountability for our own actions. Everything that happens is not God's fault.
It's
Everything that
not.
goes down that's bad in our life, it's not God's fault. As
Yes.
long
Facts.
as long as you keep that good relationship with the Lord, as long as you talk to him, as long as you let him know that, Lord, I know things are bad right now, but I still have my faith in you. I still know that you are watching me and you're going to give me the best outcome I could ever imagine. Then the Lord will hear your prayer and he will reciprocate it back to you tenfold. He is a very loving God. Like
He
when you
is.
show him love, even through hate, he will still say, I love you.
Right.
When you show him love, the Lord will reward you. He will show you that you are not any different from any of his other children, that he
Right.
loves just as much, and he's going to reciprocate that love by helping you after you show him all that faith. So
Wow.
again, my last word is just never lose faith in the Lord, because again, he works in mysterious ways. He
Yes.
works in great ways. So as long as we just have faith and in our mind we know that the Lord, he's making his way to us. He's making his way to
Yes.
everybody, but he
Yes.
for sure is making his way to us. As long
Yes.
as we know that he's coming to us in due time,
Yes.
then your faith will never die out. You'll always know that the Lord will be there for you. Knowing that somebody has your back
Yes.
makes your life just feel 10 times safer, makes you feel 10 times better.
Wow.
Just never
Man.
lose faith. Just always have faith. Always believe that God is watching you, because he is. He's watching you, and he's ready whenever you need his help. So,
Man,
yeah.
something that dropped in my spirit right now is 10 to 20 years from now, you and I are going to come back and review this video. I want you to, it's going to be a challenge. I want you to stay on the path. I want to see what your reaction will be like when you're 29, 39.
Yeah.
And we review this video and you say, man, I haven't changed much of the foundation. Of course, you've grown in knowledge and a testament of Christ at that time, but the foundation is the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to see what it's like when you go back and see, man, that's pretty good. You said some things, like you're telling yourself, you said some things that are pretty profound. Okay. I can't believe I said that, but that's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's why we're doing this thing, man. Guys, we've come to the end of our video. And by the way, if our guests want to reach out to you, you told me yesterday you don't have social media yet, but I think you should definitely consider it. You said you would anyway.
Yeah.
So that if they want to reach out to you, because some of the guests we bring on board, people tend to reach out to them and ask questions. I want you to have, even if it's not social media, some kind of way for them to contact you, and especially when they get your book, right? So someone that's 17, 18, 19, 20, 50, 60, whatever it is, might buy your book and say, you know what? I want to reach out to this guy. I want you to find a way where it is convenient for them to reach out to you. Send it to me and I'll put it on the video link, or, if you can send it to me before I edit a video, then that's fine. But if not, it's cool as well.
Yeah.
The video is going to stay long. I could just put it on the description, portion of the video for someone to reach out to you. But keep that in mind. Thank you so much, Wisdom. I really enjoyed our time together. We're going to invite you.
It was a good time,
again
man.
In the future.
Thank you for inviting me. It
is my great pleasure. Guys, please, if you haven't purchased this book, check it out. It's called The Empowered by Faith. And then the 5 keys to building a vibrant Christian life. It's written by my brother here, Wisdom, okay? We've come to the end of our show. Feel free to like, share, comment below. Follow us, subscribe to us. Share this video with someone that needs this. If you have an 18-year-old or 19-year-old that's giving you trouble or whatever, I want this to be a point of contact that your kid can live for Christ because they chose to. Not because you forced them to. You can lead a horse to the stream, but you can't force it to drink. My mother didn't force me to drink out of the river of life. I chose to be in this race and love God on my own, just like Wisdom has. You might not relate to me, but you can relate to Wisdom and see how he's doing great things for the Lord and greater things to come, So yeah, share this video with someone that's going through that. Not every teenager is living out, partying, and doing great, crazy stuff. No. Wisdom is a typical example of that, okay? But yeah, guys, we'll see you guys on the next video. Welcome to the Equity Experience. Bye-bye for now. My name is Great Akudo, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.